makes, and oceans we wave. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Central Andros, Small Bay, coral reefs, all Andros Regatta, they're showing off their print and culture. Mangrove Key, hospitality, sweet, sweet, sweet. When they hear the rhythm, spirits from the broken reefs, join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Oh my Andros, she makes, 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 and oceans we wave. Oh my Andros, she makes, 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 and oceans we wave. Oh yeah, Lord, 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 right. Spirits from the broken reefs, join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Red day, my day, no sound comes down. Drink silk and stay. Mango, oh yeah.
Slowly passing an open zone one day, I stopped just for a moment to watch those children play. A lonely boy was standing, and when I asked him why, he turned with eyes that could not see, and he began to cry. Said, I'm nobody's child, I'm nobody's child, just like a flower. No mommy kisses, I know daddy smile. Nobody wants me, I'm nobody's child. People come for children and take them for their own. They all seem to pass me, Lord, I'm left here on my own. I know they like to take me, but when they see I'm blind, they always take some other kid, and I am left behind. I'm nobody's child, I'm nobody's child, just like a flower, I'm going wild. No mommy kisses, I know daddy smile. Nobody wants me, I'm nobody's child. People come for children and take them for their own. They all seem to pass me, Lord, I'm left here on my own. I know they like to take me, but when they see I'm blind, they'll always take some other kid, and I am left behind. Said I'm nobody's child, I'm nobody's child, just like a flower, I'm going wild. No mommy kisses,
morning sunrise. We'll see the seagulls fly in the morning sky. Listen to the music coming from the ocean as we walk along the beach in your pink sand. Harbor Island, no place I'd rather be. Harbor Island, no place for me. Harbor Island, the whole wide world I roam. Harbor Island, you are my island home. Recall the magic of those summer days and nights now long since past. Friendships made which never shall be broken, and sweet promises which shall forever last. Harbor Island, no place I'd rather be. Harbor Island, you are the place for me. Harbor Island, the whole wide world I roam. Harbor Island, you are my island home. Take me back, up yonder. Take me back, down yonder. Bay Street, Murray Street, Mission Hill, Grassy Alley, under the fig tree.
If you don't like it, sell your TV, buy your fan. Let's do this. Well, it's regatta time again. Wait, you ready? People, are you ready? Man, if your car break down, the jitney coming round. So on your way it's round, cause we got to start it now. I say, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Hey, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Come on, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Hey, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to say. I get in me something. Wind up on something. Now shake up on something. Wind up on something. Dance up on something. Wind up on something. Now shake up on something. Wind up on something. Now let's go deep in the bush. Ride all around the town. To every settlement. On every family island. Say we drinking rum. Man, we having fun. It can only happen one place. My Bahama land. Let's go. The big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Hey, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Let's go. The big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Hey, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Boy, I getting something. I go wine on something. Shake up on something. Wind up on something. Dance up on something. Wind up on something. Must stop joking. Pay the captain. Pay the captain. Pay the captain. Pay the captain now. Hop the boat. Hop the boat. Hop the boat. Show him you ain't broke. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Ride the boat. Scull the boat. Come on, scull the boat. Hey, scull the boat. Ha ha! The big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Hey, the big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Let's go. The big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. All day. The big boat passing through. Man, you know just what to do. Big boat pulling in. Watch the people records gripping. Ain't nobody stuck in.
This corner right here is reserved for rude boys and rude girls only.
Rude girl?
If you ain't no rude boy and you ain't no rude girl,
man.
Don't come on this corner.
No, don't call me no rude girl.
You rude bad.
No, you rude boy.
He's a rude boy. 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 Standing on the corner, smoking the peace pipe, drinking the red stripe. He don't want no trouble tonight. He don't want to have no fight. He in love with the rude girl tonight. The rude boy, 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 rude boy. The office, what? Your mama calling it. Boy, she got a switch.
Oh, yeah, Nico.
She gonna whoop you. She got a switch. She gonna beat you. She got a switch. She gonna whoop you. She got a big piece of two before. She said if you don't come home, she gonna whoop you in front of all of your friends. Now get off the corner and take off your glasses. Stop cutting glasses. Now get off the corner and take off your glasses. Stop cutting glasses. You sight the rude girl, you sight her with the eye. She got her sunglasses on her eye. A straight way up to her thigh. She in love with the rude boy tonight. The rude girl, 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 rude girl. You're always moving rude, always talking rude, always walking rude, always dancing rude. You're moving rude, you're talking rude, you're walking rude, you're dancing rude. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Go to school, rude boy. Go to school, rude boy. Yeah, better go to school.
I didn't see you.
Limbo, rude boy, limbo, hey, rude girl, limbo. Use your energy, walk down by the sea. Hey, rude boy, rude girl, limbo. One, two, three, go. Don't you mess with dope? When you mess with dope, you ain't got a hope. Your hope is under the microscope. When you mess with dope, one more time. Hey. Now you see, I know you rude from that time, you know.
What time you talk, man?
You know what I mean.
Lord, ever since I know you been rude.
I ain't rude no more.
Oh, I heard about you.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Foundation with Howard Grant here, jamming with you. Beautiful day. Grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to kind of jam with you and do what we're doing, talking about where we are, where we're going, how things are happening in the country. I'm grateful to be with you on this beautiful day as we mourn the death of Archbishop Drexel Gomez. You can see in the papers that the Governor General actually viewing his body and being able to identify those things. I wanted to go to the funeral, to see whether or not they stretched him out at a 45-degree angle. Yeah, because that's how the bishops go down. Did you know that? Did you know that? The bishops, when they pass, they don't lay flat. They lay at a 45-degree, and I think they face east. I'm not sure how this thing goes, but it's out there. That's what they do. So, Governor General, I'm looking at the Archbishop Drexel Gomez as we take a last view of him here on this side of eternity, as he goes on to capture his reward. His reward. The funniest thing is this. All of us have a reward to get. Can I say that? All of us have a reward to acquire, to get, to grab, to have, right? There is wages to be paid. And you can be able to either identify those wages as a reward or wages as, the compulsory thing that you actually receive as a result of the labor that you would have done here, because that could be good or bad. And so often, those of us who carry ourselves with faith and in faith, to be absent in the body is always to be present with the Lord. I'm hoping, praying, hoping, and really working, because faith without works is still dead, towards the idea or the acquisition of this reward from God. The reward of, well done, my good and faithful servant. Big. I'm gonna hear it. I know about you. Some people don't believe that it exists, but I do. I believe it with all my guts. I do. Hope you guys are good out there, man. We can be able to be out here being able to talk about these things. I don't know if you saw behind me, we got our water and everything laid out from Crystal Select. Crystal Select has been wonderful for us, being able to support us and sponsor us for what you're doing. Is really refreshing water. You can be able to get your stuff down at East Street South when you headed over right there from headed south and just over Soldier Road. As you head south, just over Soldier Road. There's two buildings, I think, to the left. You can be able to see that. Crystal Select Water, premium water of the Bahamas, East Street South. You can give a call at 325-1416, 325-1416. Hit them up and see what they says, man. I'm fine stuff, man. Most affordable water, most refreshing water. I might as well tell you the truth. When Clark tell me how I come taste this water, taste this water. I never even hear, but this is water, right? He's been established now for some 20-some years and being able to do this particular thing. and it's truly affordable. He provides you excellent customer service wherever you want to be able to get that water. You can be able to get affordable water. Talk to me. Whilst you're paying $3 a gallon, you could be able to get your water refreshed for $3 for your 5 gallon. So just bring your bottle. You can be able to get that thing taken care of for you. He could create logos for you to put on your water for your events. If you're having an event, whatever you're having, he can be able to do those things. It's Crystal Select. Mr. Clark would be more than happy to take care of you. Like I said, the number again is 325-1416, 325-1416. Locally bottled. They can take good care of you. They got everything down there at Crystal Select. Thank you, man, for being able to do that thing. I want to thank you guys for being able to do that. Make sure you pick up your paper. We can look at a couple of things today and talk about it. Worsening housing crisis. Bahamians face rising rent. Other challenges is what Keith Bell says. The Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, Keith Bell, said yesterday that while the results of the housing crisis census indicated that large numbers of abandoned buildings, it doesn't accurately reflect. I can't see this. Sorry, guys. It does not accurately reflect the housing crisis Bahamians are facing. Despite the increase in dwellings, Bahamians continue to face crowding and rising rents. You know, I just recently heard, Belinda was actually talking to us when she spoke with us about what was happening in the family of islands when persons are displaced. And they're moving from this island and they're finding themselves elsewhere. They got to go off to Cat Island. They got to go off to Inagua. They got to go wherever they got to go to be able to get these particular things done. They find themselves in this kind of a position where they are, they have to be, well, if you're seconded or whatever the case may be, if you're working for the government, you find yourself in this kind of a position, right? And so you do this. They have an opportunity available for you. Maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's something, who knows. It was an opportunity for you to be able to move forward. You're going off to Long Island, Cat Island, Exuma, Ragged Island, wherever the hell you're going. I don't know where you're going. Wherever you're going, you're going away internally within the confines of the Bahamas, right? The government of the Bahamas has said to you that we're going to take care of a couple of things for you, right? Now, as I knew about this particular program a few years ago, I knew that within certain arms of the government, you could be moved and there is an allotment. So they give you enough money to be able to get all your stuff on the boat, like Belinda was talking about. And beyond getting that money in the boat, they say to you, okay, so this is where you're going to be placed for an extended period of time. The government of the Bahamas give you some time to catch yourself if you ain't got the money. We know that it's not going to be it's not going to be an easy thing for you to be able to make sure. We're going to give you a couple of years. Now, if you find, a place to rent, the government of the Bahamas will be able to give you X amount of dollars. There's a cap. There's a ceiling. Let's say the ceiling is $1,500. Right? For the purposes of this conversation, because I believe with inflation, it would have increased over the years. I'm not going to fight the thing, right? So let's say the thing was increased to about $1,500. And so the government of the Bahamas will pay, what I suppose, based upon what Belinda said to us, based upon the fact that if you're, which department you're with, right? So if you're with Customs or Immigration or Royal Bahamas Defense Force or Police or Royal Bahamas Police Force, it seems like you're getting paid. It seems like you're getting paid. But what was baffling to me, I didn't know, was that the teachers don't get the same kind of a thing, right? And so we've already heard this sort of an idea that rent has increased exponentially. I mean, significantly in the family islands. I did not notice. I didn't notice. I don't know, heavy traveling all over the place. I went to Mangrove Key. I've been a long time. But these things are, affordable. Yeah, you're thinking you're in the family islands, they don't have resources, there's an expectation, you got to pay for this, no problem. But to hear the numbers quoted for a 1-bedroom in Long Island, woo! There needs to be a study done. Why the hell you all charging us so much money to go to Long Island? Why would you do that? Right? Persons are having conversations about the fact that they have moved off, and Airbnbs are tremendous amount of money. Everybody putting an Airbnb on their place. They don't want to rent to you. They are content with the fact that they don't have to rent to you. They could rent their rooms out for $250 a night. They get 3 nights, and they get what you thought you was gonna get them, the $750. They ain't want no $750 from you. You got to pay $2,000 a month. So you, first and foremost, they're saying Buckingham Palace. That's the first thing. Secondly, I ain't king. I ain't King Charles or King Philip, whatever you deem. I don't have that kind of bread, cousin. I don't have that kind of money to be spending up. I don't know who increases these things. I don't know who makes this determination. I don't know whether or not we are manipulated by an external market to make a determination as to whether or not we could afford this, we would pay this, we would do this, we would do that, based upon what's happening externally. Well, tourists can pay for it. I don't care if Beam, I don't want to rent to them. No how. This will be dealing with. I will rent to them. No how. They don't keep your place well. The children all over the place. People tell you, I don't want no children in my place. I don't want no dog in my place. I don't want no cat in my place. I don't want no animals. No, listen. Who you renting to? I had a couple people tell me that when I came here in Nassau. Oh, I don't like children. I don't want no children in my... Thank you so much, ma'am. Have a great day. I got my babies have to come. Oh, the woman tell me right in my face, well, I don't like children, Howard. And I don't want them. I got children. I got children. What you mean you don't rent it? I can't fight you for your place. All I could do is just get up, say thank you for the opportunity, and go. And that's what I've done. And so now to be able to hear a worsening housing crisis is crazy, is absolutely crazy. And we continue to be able to talk about that. Keith Bell, in this particular capacity as Minister of Housing, is being able to talk about these things. He says, he's talking about affordability. Let's see what the last one was. He said he cited that the International Monetary Fund paper on housing affordability in the Bahamas, which found that between 2012 and 2022, 10 years, the property prices and the rents rose by 14%, while the average salaries in the Bahamas, increased by 2%. So your housing is increasing by 12% fold, whilst if you're looking at that decade, 2002 to 2022, you've been able to see your salary increase incrementally by a pinch. Just like that's like a little pinch. Ain't nothing to talk about, 2%. However, you could feel that 14%. If you were paying $1,000 a month, now you're paying $1,100, almost $1,200 a month. And that, because it doesn't, sometimes you can't really feel your monies come from your boss then, right? By the time as it reach you, especially if you have bills, right? If you have deductions, let's say you get some furniture from Furniture Plus. Let's say you owe the bank for something, right? And these particular persons deduct from you. When your money coming and the deductions already taken out, by the time as you see that, you'll never feel that 2%. You say, Jesus, God, these people trying to kill me, Jesus. I didn't work 65 hours this week, God, and I still ain't got enough to buy these shoes. You limping to work with one shoes is too much. This is going on. This is what's going on in the Bahamas. You got a hole in your shoe, you got to deal with that. Your teeth in the back there, you can't even yuck that out because you ain't got enough money for that. You got to figure out, do we eat this week or pay the light bill? Listen, man. This I don't joke with this stuff. People are making these kind of decisions. People have to decide how far this Vini sausages and noodles could stretch before my next paycheck. I've been through this, man. I've been through this. I've been unemployed. My wife works for the government. I understand this. We don't see money for the longest time. The cycle is wicked. You understand what I'm saying? I've been through this in my early years, especially being married. It was it was a shameful time. Shame, boy. You know how much time I tell my wife I can leave? How much time I tell her that? And not because we row, or not because I don't like her, or nothing like that. You know how much time I tell her I didn't feel worthy because I couldn't access the finances, the capital, the funds that I needed to do what I had to do. You know how much time it is? You know, y'all need to stop being jokers out here. You got to be real, man. You got to stop joking with this sort of an idea and just this sort of an idea of being able to play around, man. You got to be real out here. I don't thief and I don't sell. Praise Jesus. Let's be decent. You can't get no amen, Jesus. I ain't thieving nothing from nobody. I ain't begging nothing. Yeah, I guess sometimes pride will keep you in a particular position. But I definitely ain't thieving nothing from nobody. Oh, thief! Boy, look here. You call me anything, but you ain't got me no damn thief. Thief! Thief! I can't believe in Jesus Christ and have the thief from you. The devil is a liar. Thief! I see people just try to be able to drop those innuendos because they didn't do their business right. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but where's the money going? Hold on, baby. What you trying to say? What you trying to say? Thief! I've been through some dark days in this country, boy. Dark. In Grand Bahama? Ooh. D-A-R-K. Big block letters. All black. Thick. Dark. I wouldn't tell you how me and my wife having to be able to move from 8 Mile Rock and carry her to work in Freeport, and I didn't have a job. I was up and down looking for a job and I couldn't do these things. It was dark days. It was dark days. Because you don't want to make people burden yours. And you're prayerful. You believe that this is a time that you go through. But a lot of people are still living in this particular position. Don't have to be in Grand Bahama. I believe that a lot exists there. But this is an issue that a great deal of people suffer in this country. We got to do something better than this. We got to in this country. Let's talk about this. Let's have a very clear conversation about this. We have to, in this country, find a way to be able to educate our children to stop the locust and the cankerworm from consuming their increase. That's what I said. We have to find a way in this country to stop the locust and the cankerworm from being able to consume the increase of our children. We have to find a way. We have to figure out how do we educate our children that they don't fall into the same hole that we fall into. Because if we want to be honest, a great deal of us have fallen into the same traps that our fathers and mothers have fallen into. If we want to be absolutely honest and be able to speak with transparency, with honesty, and come from our hearts, the fact of the matter is that a great deal of us have fallen into the same traps of our mothers and fathers. You broke, your mother was broke, your daddy broke, everybody broke. Jesus God Almighty, I can't take this, man. We broke. We broke. Me and my mom used to row about this, you know. This is before she get in parliament. I got ideas now. Only Jesus can tell you where these ideas come from. I don't think you should do it like that, and I don't think you should do it like this. Hold on, wait. I can tell me don't do it like this. You ever do it? Big row. Woo! Big row. I said, hold on, wait. First and foremost, you got to show me $150,000, $300,000. I can need to see $1 million, $1.5 million. I can need to see something before I take any business advice from. What? How would you think you know everything? Big route. This here is a serious thing. This housing crisis in this country is a serious thing. People ain't move out of their mother them house since COVID-19. COVID. People moved into their parents' house because they weren't paying bills. They didn't have jobs. Sometimes the mother and the husband and the wife find themselves in the position where none of them are essential workers. They can't work. They ain't making no money. Ain't nothing happening. So forth and so on. These things are happening. Husband and wife working to the hotel. This was during COVID. Husband and wife working to the hotel. They had to make a decision to leave their abode, whatever it was, whether it was an apartment, whether it was leasing, whether it was renting, mortgage, whatever it was. They had to make a decision that we can't afford this anymore. Some people have not recovered since then. They have not recovered since then. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you. Some people have not recovered since then. And that's where the resilience comes in, you know. This idea of resilience is just too casual, yeah. But you know, we as Bahamians, we are resilient people. You just repeating things, you know what the hell you're saying. We are resilient people. Our roach is resilient. Are you a roach out here in the city? Are you a roach? You ever see Hiroshima and everything fall and blow up and all the people dead and everything like that, and out of the rubble, a roach. Yes, where the hell does roach come from? Radioactive, activated. If you bite them, you turn to a spider roach or something like that. Who knows? But a roach is there. Roach is always there. That's resilience. That's not productivity. That's mere existence. Our resilience doesn't. We're not embodied in the concept of resilience simply because we exist. Oh, Bahamian people are resilient. Why? Because we still live in? We broken. The resilience should be, how do we get back to normal? I listened to this Jamaican guy today. I don't know this guy. I don't. I'm just watching. I gotta look at this thing. This phone keep going off. I don't know if somebody's saying to me they could hear or you can't hear. Okay, this ain't our one. This ain't got nothing to do with us. Okay? Let's be clear about something now. This resilience that we talk about, this sort of an idea. I watched a guy in Jamaica this morning. I don't know this guy. And the guy from Jamaica, in his patois, starts to be able to talk about rolling a spliff, right? It's the smallest joint I ever see in my life. He might as well just leave that. It looked like he had a roach, and he stretched it out like that. One little 10 piece. I say, this man, what the hell are you smoking that for? You might as well leave that alone. He's showing me he broke. I just watching it, and he said, "Yeah, you know, the government have to be able to take care of some things and make sure that they could be able to take care of the man them on the road and lower the price of everything and make sure everybody could feel something. Because guess what? These fellas got choppers and guns and this and that, and boy, look here, the rude boys can come out if you don't do this." So what the hell are you talking about, sir? What the hell are you talking about? I hate that mindset. I hate it. Oh God, I hate it. That it's my problem because you can't get up and find something to do. It's my problem that you ain't got no skills. It's my problem that you ain't got no innovation, no creativity, no relationships, no connections, no determination, no faith, no passion to step out of this environment that you're in. It's my problem that you want me to chew up food and spit in your mouth. That's what you want me to do. You think I was a bird? You's a bird. You're here screaming with your mouth stretched wide open. All day I gotta come look for you and vomit in your mouth. That's what you want. You want somebody with all your teeth in your mouth to chew up your food and spit it in your mouth for you. That's what you want. And if I don't do it, you have the strength to find a gun. I never hear such asinine. I never hear nothing like this in my life. You don't have the strength to unify your community. You don't have the strength to identify that we could be able to collectively, as 150 of us who have problems. We don't have to individually work on 150 lots. All 150 of us can come work on your one house. Then we go to the next house. Then we go to the next house. And put all our strength, capability, creativity in this one project and move on to another. I guarantee you, after you finish that, you step back, you say, wow, I can't believe we was able to do that. Wow. I can't believe that we had the creativity to get this done. Wow. I guarantee you, in the midst of crisis, you can always find your strength. The talent that God has given you, the insight, the ability to understand, your ability to be able to cast a vision, your leadership ability in the middle of crisis, it coming out. In the middle of crisis, when you think everything falls, boom, that thing coming for you. Every time. The people by Guardian say, Howard, carry your behind. I said, what you mean? I told you this was an issue. Why are you taking it like this and this and that? I get mad. I won't cuss. I'm mad as fire because I told these people this and they carry on like, well, I didn't know. No, you never said that to me, Howard. I swear to God, the people look at me in my face and say, you never said that to me, Howard. And I did, well, mother sick. Angry! Because I did everything I could do to secure this particular position. And as I get my voice, I could hear my voice going up at 2 octaves. My brain say, why are you rowing with these people? What are you doing? Just only could be Jesus Christ. In the midst of anger, in the midst of temptation to step into a space of turmoil, my brain, my heart says to me, what are you doing? These people, they're not called with the same call you are. They're not chosen, not in a bad way. I'm telling you what come to me. You rowing these people, they're doing the best to survive for themselves and their family. What are you doing? What you rowing with them for? You expect them to have integrity? This is how they survive. This is who they are. What are you doing? In the middle of the row, I was like this. Rah! I'm so sorry. In the middle, I honest to Jesus. In the middle of it, I was. You are a liar. I told you. I'm so sorry. I apologize. What else you need from me? Anything else I got for you guys? I'm sorry. In less than 30 days, I had my newspaper out. In less than man, you don't even hear me. I told you I'd be on the radio. I said, you're going to see me again on September 1st. September 1st, I peel off the situation. Bam! You see me here. Newspaper, this, oh God. When I start my television station, I think you like me, but I don't care. Because I ain't going to be here for long. I'm here for purpose. I ain't come here to cuddle up with everybody and make friends. I'm here to execute purpose. That the ones behind me that are looking at this housing crisis, that are looking at tribulations in our society, are looking at the financial, socioeconomic situations that we have, the ones behind me could realize that we don't have to wait for somebody to come vomit in our mouth. We can figure this out ourselves. And to hell with who don't like you or who like you or who this and who that. Once Jesus Christ got you, baby, you're straight. Once you prayed up and you move in faith, favor can follow you. Goodness and mercy shall follow you all the days of your life, and you shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I can't even get no amen. Your care and concern is who could vomit in your mouth, who could, listen to me. I can imagine the sloths and the slouches in Golden Isle right now. I can imagine them. I can imagine men sitting around domino tables drinking hot ass rum out their back pocket, having a casual conversation about how they wish they was in Golden Isles right now. They was gonna be straight. Oh God, oh what? Boy, I would have made them give me boom, boom, boom. I don't even sit down and talk to you no more. I know the devil walk in here when you start saying stupidness like that. And this is why I must come out from among them. This is a stupid thing this man say. Jesus, if I was in Golden Isles, boy, he can't wait for general election. I know these fellas can give me something. Never work to get nothing for yourself. You don't know the value of what you have for yourself. It's not an easy thing to live in this country, guys. But you have a decision. You can either live or die. No two ways about that. You could either live or die. I can do all the living I could do before I stretch out. Amen? I can't even get an amen. I don't have to wait until I'm 55 to do some of the things that I'm doing. I could do it right now. I don't have to wait for some man to come around here and put his hand on my shoulder and say, I choose Howard. Mr. Then get your dirty hand off me right now in Jesus' name. Let's take this thing for joke, you know. I grew up in the 80s. When we say we don't like man, that was a serious thing to us, you know. What? That wasn't no game. That wasn't a casual conversation. We didn't say that trying to insult you. We tried to warn you. I don't worry. Look here, watch yourself. Watch yourself while you dealing with me, eh? Watch yourself while you come on to me, eh? Because now we can turn all the way up to 1,000 from 0. We calm now. Don't look at me like that. Don't bother with me like that. There's a group of people who are out there who waiting for you to feed them. They waiting for you to come on the blocks on $5,000 in your pocket, and they pray to God that today, you give them $20. Boy, I hope we get $100 today. Bossman, what you want me to do for you, man? They wouldn't even offer to wash your car. They want that thing. This is an increasing lazy society that we've created. Increasingly lazy. You have been lulled and fanned to sleep by the delusion of colonialism that existed prior, with an expectation that that will continue. The neo-colonialist blackface government that saw how the white boys did it sought to perpetuate the idea. They won't carry out the exact same thing. They find themselves in this position where, tell them come to me for it. You believe by being able to render a favor, to lend a favor, to create a path that you are creating a disciple unto you. That's not what God called you to do. But this is what you're doing. And this is the issue that we have with governments. And that's the issue why we don't have liberty. And that's the issue that we don't have the crown noun distribution. And that's the issue why everyone continue to be able to flirt with this idea. And that's the issue why the former administration has done everything that they could do with the Immovable Property Acts and afforded an opportunity for the external persons to be able to be empowered and to make money for all of these real estate companies and realtors or not. These people are multi-millionaires. And we out here living on top of each other like this China. And land upon land upon land upon land upon land out in the Family Islands. And we here sleeping. Pop, pop, pop. Is that a shooting outside? I hope everything is okay. And go right back to sleep. You can't even do nothing about it. You live in Sodom and Gomorrah. And your desire is not to be here. But no government has created us an opportunity to be able to be empowered in the Family of Islands. I'm waiting to be able to hear more. And this is why I reached out to them. I reached out to Keith, Keith Bell. I want to hear more about this Generational Property Act. There's so much of us who have a little piece of property somewhere. So much of us. Rolls, Grant, who else? McKinsey, I don't know who else, whatever. We get all kind of property over this country. All kind. And we can't access nothing. And you're scared to go to a lawyer because they won't charge you in land. That's how they get their assets, some of them. They won't charge you in land. They won't tell you, look here, I could do this, and this for you, but I can need 10 acres. But Jesus God Almighty. So, you know how much 1 acre costs? A half acre, you should give me change back. You want 10. You want 10. Hey, buddy, you go to somebody else, Your fraternity wouldn't even allow decency to get in the door. I go to somebody else, the same thing. Maybe worse. This is where we are. This is how we are living in this country. This is how we live in this country. So we pile up on each other. Go back to mommy house. All because no one could do nothing. I could go to Grand Bahama now, build a beautiful house, one for me, one for my wife, one for my daughter, one for my son. I could build 3 beautiful houses in Grand Bahama. Nice house. All the labor in Grand Bahama, all the land in Grand Bahama. I even could get affordable material in Grand Bahama. How I can maintain the house? My grandfather died. He died. And my Grammy was in the house by herself. Now, keep in mind, this woman she was never alone. She always had someone throughout her life. There was always someone who was a part of her life. And there were 2 families, including her and my grandfather, living in the house. So it was essentially 3 families at one point. She turned this little clapboard house into this humongous, beautiful 2-story something in 8 Mile Rock. She did this. And as she did it, and she put everything together, as her children became older, got into relationships, had children, they didn't move out. And not because there was no place to live. They were building, some of them. And so Grammy helped them build. They build and they move out. They build and they move out. So only persons left in the house was my grandmother and my grandfather. Everybody had moved out. My grandfather dies. And I'm with Grammy every night up until like 2 o'clock in the morning. I moved to 8 Mile Rock because I was in Freeport. I moved to 8 Mile Rock in Jimmy Apartments. Right? Jimmy say, Howard, what you doing living in people's house? Come. We don't do like things like that. Come. I said, no, man, no, it ain't like that, Jimmy. He said, Howard, come. George Jimmy Smith. So moving apartments. I said, Jimmy, I ain't got no money to pay you now. I was unemployed. Y'all don't understand what unemployed mean. No money, $0 coming in. Jimmy said, no problem, Howard. I ain't gonna charge you. After a year, you need to be able to see something. 1 month gone, 2 months gone, looking for job, doing this, doing that, doing every Jesus thing. Everything I could do. I couldn't find nothing to stick. I applied with Ministry of Tourism. I walk in the thing, interviewed, my best clothes, fresh haircut. I get this haircut on credit. Eddie cutting it. I give them, I start telling them these concepts and ideas, the customer service and training and concept and blah, 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 what I do and what I can do. I show them my certification, my qualification, all these things like that. So like 6 or 7 of them sitting around the table. I could call every one of their name. I know every one of them. And somebody asks, well, Howard, we hate to ask you this, but we got to ask you this question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? As I was about to respond, this fella right here, the bald head one. Oh, he looked like he coming to get my job. I know that was it. I say, Jesus Christ, I ain't getting here. I ain't getting here. I tried to get a job with them. I was tired looking for job. I was looking for job. Oh God, I was looking for job. I ain't find none. And so, after my grandfather died and I was spending so much time with my grandmother in the evening, I would go home 2 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. I just was sitting down with Grammy talking, just keeping her company, you know. And an opportunity came after I ran for the DNA, because the DNA came to me during this time. An opportunity came after I ran for the DNA. And in the opportunity, I had to move to Nassau. So I went to Nassau for a visit, and I came back and I decided I would move to Nassau. So I sat with Grammy and I said, Grammy, I'm going to be moving to Nassau. She says, no, baby, don't go. I said, Grammy, you got to go. She says, baby, whatever you need, I can take care of you. I said, Grammy, I appreciate that, but I can't do that. I ain't that type of man. You know, I got to take care of my family. I got to take care of myself and my family. She said, I understand what you're saying, baby, but whatever you need, I can help you. I said, I know, Grammy, you've always helped me. I said, I have to go. She said, baby, I am afraid if you go, I'm going to die. And I start crying. I said, Grammy, I'm afraid if I stay, I'm going to die. I said, nothing in Grand Bahama for me. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. So she crying, now I crying. And I left. These are the type of decisions that we have to make, guys. We have to pursue that thing that we were called to do. It cannot be easier for us to sit down and talk about who we can rob, rather than taking that skill set and developing something for yourself. I gotta encourage you, man. I know there's this housing crisis is hell. I want to encourage the government, whatever you have to do with generational property, whatever you have to do in terms of being able to afford opportunities for those persons who are, if you want to say it, indigenous, if you want to say it, local, if you want to say it, that can be able to show a lineage to identify their roots here in the country and afford them some sort of alleviation opportunity for them to grow and to build their family. You've done a great deal, this administration and the former, by being able to create an opportunity for persons to be able to bring something in. But nobody can bring a damn thing in, they ain't got no money. Yeah, the Bank of the Bahamas need to be able to help us. The Development Bank need to be able to help us. We need help. We don't have a problem being accountable. We don't have a problem with you being able to create another division for accountants within whatever sector, just to be able to make sure that all the finances are returned. We don't have a problem with you being able to create spaces for us to learn more about financial education and whatnot, but you got to give us a chance. You got to give us a chance. You got to help us. Nobody else helping us. We need help. I encourage you guys to continue to be able to move forward and make some things happen. But let's talk about those things. Guys, quick break. I'm going to be right back after this.
This corner right here is reserved for rude boys and rude girls only.
Oh, hey, boy, you nosy now. All up in my bricks and mortar. Deep in it. I hope you can handle it. I met this street potter. He was all in my face, always in my way, getting on my case. He followed me to breakfast, tail me to lunch, get fired from Tribune. Now he wait for the punch. Now I must admit, he was a little cute, but that ain't give him no reason to go look at my birthday suit. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. You done gone this deep, might as well get removed. Hey, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? What? Yeah. Hey, yes, smile. Wait, you say all up in it. What? He been in my closet, smelling my shoes. He round my clothesline, say he looking for clues. Digging in my garbage, searching in my drawers. He saw some pictures, he mouth hit the floor. He took out his pen and started to write. The more he looked up, the more he liked. You done all up in my business. Man, what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. You done gone this deep, might as well get removed. Hey, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Bring me horns. Now that's a reporter. You gotta wait, boy. Investigate. Deep investigation. Check this out. See? Josie put his hand in his pocket, make me itch. Oh yeah. He started to scratch me just where I had an itch. I said, hey, my boy. Boy, what you think this is? You must first try. And if I had a man like Josie, I will L-I-C-K. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Don't run away, boy. I talking to you. All up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all your paparazzi and reporters step. I's 100% Bahamian woman. Let me tell you something. You can't lie on this and expect to get away with it. I can tell you that. So when you come correct. Ooh, you investigating, penetrating, getting in my biz, pesterizing, analyzing. What you think this is? You won't go undercover? You got to be brave. If you ain't gonna work, why how you expect to get a raise? He was a little scared, afraid to get hurt. Boy, you done in my biz. Now get to work. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. You done gone this deep, might as well get beat. Boy, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Don't run away, boy. I talking to you. You all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? You just standing there like you can't move. Get on gone this deep, makes well find the truth. Boy, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, ooh, ooh. All up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Ow. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? All up in my business. I'm talking to you. All up in my business. Ooh, now what you gonna do? What? All up in my
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the foundation, being able to talk about all that is going on, all the happenings in the country, and what's happening or what ain't happening. If you look at the papers today, my guys, make sure you pick up your paper. And the realigner is going to be out. The realigner is going to be out. The realigner, we got to get it out before Black Friday. So we got to get it out before Black Friday. We got to get it out before Cyber Monday. So to be out by November 15th, it should be here on Island. And by the 17th, I think the 15th is a Friday. So the 17th, 16th, 17th, on the 18th, the top of the 18th, you should be able to pick it up and see exactly what's what. And get your stuff going on like that. So the realigner is going to be out, guys. You can be able to find out more information about it and what we have going on. You can give me a call right down there. What is over there? There. You can see it. Right down there. You can go down there and you can be able to check us out. Right, 827-0111, 827-0111. Let me know if you're interested. If you got something that you want put in the papers, we got affordability for you. You can afford it. Let's make some things happen, guys. Let's look at this, man. Free National Movement candidate for Golden Isles, Brian Brown, asserted yesterday that if the Progressive Liberal Party loses the upcoming by-election, all of the work happening in Golden Isles will likely stop. That's probably why you don't want to come sit with me, because I have to tell you that don't make no sense what you say. I have to tell you. If anybody in the F&M tell you, I have to tell you. That ain't make no sense what you say. You're working against you first and foremost. Let's just be decent. So anyway, it says Brown said that the PLP candidate Darren Pickstock meant what he said when he told the party supporters that Golden Isle has been neglected. Darren has done me a favor. This is what Brown said. He's done my job and made it much easier for me. Is what he said. He said he knows that the government has not done anything for Golden Isles and many other constituencies in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. They have not done anything, nothing tangible that they say they have done in Golden Isles. If you name me one, I'll go and see it. But I know there's not one. That ain't how you set that up, If you name me one, I'll give you $1,000. He's a millionaire. You could make them kind of bet. You name me one, get $1,000. What? They'll be getting hurting looking for projects that the PLP did. All right. So he says, following his nomination last week, Pickstock highlighted some of the long-standing issues plaguing the constituency, criticized the lack of progress seen in the area, and stated that he is tired of constituents being ignored. Pickstock's comments drew skepticism as the PLP is currently the governing party. The Golden Isles was represented by the late Vaughn Miller. Pickstock later stated that he was not being critical of the PLP. However, Brown supported Pickstock's initial critique while pointing to the road paving exercise that recently began in the area following a long-standing complaints. Brown, who has lived in Golden Isles for 23 years, said that he previously appealed to the government for assistance with the issue but received no response. He says, I have sent letters to both ministries, Minister Alfred Sayers, Minister Clay Sweeting, Brown said. He said, they have not even acknowledged the letter. But now it's a by-election. They can pave every road there is in Golden Isles. Let them pave it. The people will vote for Brian Brown on November 24th. That's what he says. He added, in the West End by-election, they promised the people the sky, heaven, and everything. Ask the people in West End what they got after the election was finished. The same thing that Golden Isles, I'm telling Golden Isles people, do not buy it. They've only been here for a few days. And when Darren is not successful, the PLP is not successful, Bush crack, and they're gone. That's what he said. Says Brown further criticized Pickstock's campaign slogan, building on progress. He says, we pay taxes. That's what he said. They are supposed to pave the roads, make sure that we have water and safety. What progress? This is Brown asking. The by-election is slated for November 24th. Brown will face off against Pickstock, Coalition of Independent candidate Brian Roll, and the independent candidate Karen Butler. He is confident that he will win the race. I like your confidence. I like it, man. I like your confidence. I do like your confidence. All the absolute best to you and your confidence, sir. I like the idea that you can be able to come up with these things, but you ain't give me no meat in none of this conversation. You talking to me just like somebody talking in the barbershop who ain't have no facts. You said they gone to West End and promised them the sky and heaven. That's what you said? Let me see what you say. He said in the West End by-election, they promised the people the sky, heaven, and everything. Quantify what you're saying. Nobody can tell you this because they don't know if you can win or lose. They just game with the win. But for you to be able to strengthen yourself as a politician, sir, you have to be able to provide information. They told me that you were an executive, a former executive within the insurance industry, and you have made out like a bandit. Okay, praise God. You could not have done that casually. There had to be a way and a reason that you can be able to do this the way that you've done. You have to be able to navigate yourself around these things, and you have to quantify what you're saying. You got to bring to the forefront and say, they've promised this particular thing. They was about to do this, and they never did this. They was about to do that, and they never did it. In West Grand Bahama, you got to be able to identify those things. You can't just casually say the sky and heaven. Come on, man. That's preposterous. We're dealing with real. Listen, everyone in the constituency, especially in the constituency of Golden Isles, everyone doesn't flow with the fanfare. These are learned people. They didn't get to a position where they could afford a nice chunk of property and be able to build us these beautiful homes and close to the water and all these things just by being casual and lackadaisical in their approach of how they do things. They couldn't move into Venetian Bay if they wasn't astute to what they do. They couldn't move into these places. They can't live in Coral Harbor. On Slack, you got to have money, insight, capability. You got to be able to have that. And the only way you sustain that is with information, education. So when you come into these particular people, you have to have information, education, exposure, understanding, and put everything on the table properly. The sky and heaven. What the hell are you talking about, sir? The sky and heaven. Come on, man. Leave that for the pundits. Leave that for me to be able to talk like that. Even when I do that, I have to now quantify what I'm saying. You cannot be in the People newspaper, come out here talking to your constituents. People are now dissecting that they're looking at you. The whole country is looking at you. We ain't got no other choice. We ain't got nobody else to look at. I can look at my constituency, but You got to be able to quantify these things. You got to be able to make sense of what you're saying. Brown claims that the government will stop working Golden Isles, bushcrack, man gone. That's what he says. When they lose bushcrack, man gone. Is that what you want to say? For you to be able to indicate, man, listen, man, I don't even know how these dudes just be thinking. You say, you and Travis, say you all been trying to get the road paved for the longest time. That you all already then going around and ask everybody. You say, you know how long you've been asking people? This what you say. I read in the paper, this what you say. You know how long I've been asking people? I asked Alfred when he was there. He ain't never do nothing. Nah, I asked Clay. He never do nothing. All of a sudden, Darren come down here, all these things paved. As soon as he lose, he gone. So the road could stay half paved. Maybe I should vote for him. And that's what he say. That's what I said. Well, maybe I should vote for Darren. Because I want my road paved. I can need my road paved. And if Brian is saying the only way I can get my road paved and get things taken care of consistently is with Darren. That's what he's saying. This ain't gonna be an easy thing. I know you got a lot of riding on this. I know you got a lot of riding on this, buddy. Brian, I know you got a lot of riding on this, and I think you want to be able to make the right steps. But every time you talk, I realize why you never used to talk. I can't get no amen. I'm not going to fight you. But sometimes we have to be more calculated in our approach. Strategic. We have to craft ourselves, our words, and prepare ourselves to be able to execute accordingly. You have to study to show yourself approved. I'm not getting in your business. I'm not trying to insult you or anything like that. You release this information. All of us consume this information. As we look at this, as we identify this, as we see these particular things, we find ourselves in this position. We find ourselves in this position. I know you're going to say I'm overly critical. I promise you. I don't think that I am. I know you're going to say I'm overly critical. I'm sick and tired of letting lackadaisical people enter in under the guise of financial endowment, and they don't have vision, capability to execute, and so I can't see longevity with them. I can't. So many politicians, and this is no one thing for so many politicians have slipped in when they drop the standards of what our expectations should be from a politician. In 1990, in 1987, and 1982, the caliber of politician that's presenting themselves now for service would have never been considered by the organization. Never. Never. Blame. I don't even know who to blame. I got to think about who to blame. Because somebody let a wild dog in parliament. Grammy say a Chessy cat. Somebody let someone who didn't have the caliber, the capability, the insight, the articulation, the poise, the statesman posture, an understanding of what to do, the policies, the procedures, they just let these people in. Someone let them in. I dare say it was Menace. Because the caliber of men and women that we're seeing, we didn't see this with Hubert Ingram. I dare say it was Menace. And now that you've let them in, the floodgates are open. That's what it is. That's what it is. We identify these things and we talk the way that we are. And I hate to make it seem like we're looking at these people and looking down at them. But it's time for you to be able to raise the bar. Raise the bar for discourse, raise the bar for conversation, raise the bar for innovation, raise the bar for vision to be casted in each constituency, raise the bar for debate, raise the bar, raise the bar, raise the bar, raise the bar. The bar needs to be raised. Raise the bar. Raise the bar. Don't just let anyone come into our space. You have a responsibility to guard these opportunities. I know it's been difficult sometimes. You get people who are highbrow, educated, articulate, experienced, exposed, well-traveled, well-versed, and they got good insight, but they're not people person. I know. The FNM has had their fair share of those persons, and they couldn't win. They don't have that kind of personality to really be able to see victory time and time again. They don't have that kind of a personality. They don't. But when you drop your standards, I watch it, you know. I say, oh my God, how the hell these people getting in politics? I'm not talking about your ability to be able to speak from a colloquial standpoint. I'm not talking about how Grammy them would say, how you speak broad. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about it don't matter how broad you speak, something got to come out your mouth. These people don't know what to say. They don't have nothing to say. They don't know what to say. And they're out here. And no one does anything. No one does anything about it. When I sat afar off watching you all in Nass and Freeport. When I sat afar off watching people in Freeport. I promise you, from here to Jesus, I ain't ate my rock. I watching television. I listening to the radio. I'm a part of what's going on nationally. I'm participating. And then I said, wow, these guys are smart. Wow. They come to Nassau and I get involved. I own the People Radio now. I get involved, immersed. Some of these people don't know I've been watching them for years. I think they're so smart. I like how they just talk. I invite them to come sit on my show. The first thing they ask me, Howard, what are we going to be talking about? I say, well, we can talk about generally this particular thing. Can you send me the questions that we will be having, please? Send you the questions. I don't have no questions like that, buddy. We having a conversation about national events. Yeah, but what specifically I want to be able to brush up on this and that and the next thing. They want me to craft the entire show before they come on. So they can plug their answers, recite those things, and you ask them a question off the cuff, off that paper. That's all we're supposed to be talking about, Howard. Y'all ain't prepared, man. Y'all ain't prepared for leadership, man. You think you will always have an opportunity to be able to prepare? You better come prepared. Be ye prepared. The day of the Lord is now. Be ye prepared. Because no man know the day or the time. Gotta be prepared, man. Y'all are here talking foolishness all this time. I remember Hubert Ingram would say something about someone. Right? I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with Hubert Ingram. I do. He probably don't know it, but I do. I admire him. And I kind of disappointed in some of the decisions that he made. Ibrahim said to someone, and I ain't going on him. Ibrahim said to these people, he said that they're good politicians, but they don't study. Good politician, but they don't study. What are you talking about? A good politician, but they don't study. Yeah. They don't retain information. They don't study. They off the hip. This is a lot of people, man. It's a lot of people. You're lazy, man. You don't read. You don't absorb. You don't understand. You don't immerse yourself. You don't get around certain situations and situations and categories. You don't you got to be able to breathe and eat and sleep this thing. When they sit down in here and talk to me about what's going on from an international standpoint, I feel bad if I don't know this. I gotta go look it up. I gotta go read this one. I gotta go read that. I gotta go read the next thing. There's a lot of people who ain't studied. You gotta get yourself prepared for these things, man. Is that a telephone call I got come through? I see it. Hold up. If that was a call for the show, if you're watching, call back. 827-0111, 827-0111. I'll be more than happy to engage you and have a good conversation with you. These people are just not prepared, man. There's a great deal of our politicians. The bar has been lowered. The bar is it ain't even... You remember that fire dancing bar? What it used to be, the fella used to dance under the bar with he would go under the bar with his roller skates on and then put the stick on 2 collect bottle and then go under that and go under that and go under that. The bar lower than that. How low can you go? Can you go down low? Can you take it to the flow? That's what these the political organization seems like they're doing. They have left a standard behind and yielded to the idea. Okay, for instance, because of Bradley Roberts and his brand of political tenacity, the way that he approached issues, the way that he did these particular things, I think I get somebody on the phone. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
And just if you allow me just to point 3 points. It's very important. That important for us that we have moved the bar that allow us to be where we are. One of those things that we moved the bar is that the fact that in Parliament we used to have debates.
Yeah.
There's a rule in Parliament for copious notes that requires that no reading of speeches in Parliament. You could have these little index card to keep you on point, or you're about to make a reference to a particular thing that you want to quote, say, in a newspaper, and you want to be able to get the date, time, and everything done. Even for that now, you see where they can't quote it. He said, will you adopt this as your speech? How do you adopt this as somebody's speech? If you're referring to something that's in the public domain, just state the date, time, it's published, read it for exactly what it says, and be what it is. But the most important thing is that if we go back to debates, we get to see the politicians' awareness and preparedness for the very things they say they're going to create into laws.
See, Alan,
and implement. Yes.
These fellas ain't got they. Listen to me. See, Alan, listen to me. You just do this with me. Okay? Even though I can't see you, I know you listening to this show, you're listening to that show, you're listening to the House of Assembly, you're reading the newspapers, you participate in the newspapers. I know that you're active in this thing. Okay? When you and I talk, it don't matter what the hell we talking about. We could go all drift, and come right back.
Yes.
This is what we could do. We could do this. We pay attention. We could dissect. We could chop. You sit down and talk to these politicians, see if they could do that. Well, not all of them. Some of them are very good.
Right. No, but see, what happens is though, a lot of them can talk a lot but say nothing.
They ain't got nothing to say.
Right, but this is where the other part comes in, where we should make debating mandatory. And then when you have mandatory debates, you will get to see the airheadedness of the individuals for the issues for which they would have to defend. Because doing that debate, they would not only to tell you the if, the what, and the things they know about, but they would also have to begin to answer the hows. And so if we begin to do these expectations, we then begin to lift the bar back to where it needs to go.
Yeah, but so we have to collectively identify, and I think the world has become so casual and lackadaisical because it's not only happening here in this country. They would have never, ever considered a man like Donald Trump ever to be able to enter politics. Ever. They would have never considered him. Before Bill Clinton, they wouldn't have considered a man like Bill Clinton either.
Right. But see, what happens is, as we move into the age of information, I want you to pay attention. Google came around in 1998.
Yeah.
And we move in the age of information, but information is not knowledge, nor is it wisdom. And so what happens is people began, because they seen or read things, even though they don't understand it, they misunderstood it as saying that I know, I have knowledge of, where they have been exposed to nothing but information. So this is why you see media is the most powerful tool. Media and music are powerful tools of creating culture. And so media can also dumb us down as much as it can elevate us. You know, how I speak to young people and even business people and business grouping. And the first thing I ask them is this, just for me to get a gauge of we discussing the development of Grand Bahama, or we discussing the Bahamas. I said, how many of you today have read today's business page? And they I said, how many of you have read the newspaper? Well, how much you've read the business page for the last 5 days? How about for the last 5 months? And so I says, then even if you haven't, if you don't necessarily read the front page of the news, at least know in some direction where the business environment, the business sector is going and things that is happening for us to have a discussion. Because when you start telling me what you think Freeport should be, you're talking about how you feel, what you believe, what you heard.
That's the first thing to make me know. Nothing in your head. When you say I feel,
this and that, I said how
you feel.
But how? Do you know? Let me give you a good example. And you and I talked on this other show on this before. I would like to talk to Houseman when he finishes your time. Let me just tell you this, right? So when I came home, I explained to the people from 2000 and 2003 that Grand Bahama could become a digital epicenter for the Caribbean. I showed them where, by international standard, which was verified in the Nassau Guardian in December 2021, that the Bahamas was the number one digitally prepared, listen carefully, the number one digitally prepared place in the world. Grand Bahama, if treated as a country, would be the second most digitally prepared place. Now, digital preparedness is not utilization, okay? So, and people asked me this last week in another business meeting, see, Alan, why has it didn't happen? And I said, very easily. Yes, use as an example, Amazon. Amazon was looking for a new headquarters in a semi-data center.
Yeah.
And I think about a dozen cities competed.
They put a request for proposal out. I think they put a request for proposal out. I think it was a global request for proposal.
Only one city won. But do you know the other dozen cities that lost did better than the city that got Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to ask yourself why. Because just for them bidding, remember, the infrastructure wasn't necessarily there. They simply were saying to Amazon, we are willing to put in place the policy, legislation, and whatever is necessary for you to build the infrastructure. And that's very important. See, and so we've been spending millions of dollars. The last administration probably spent about $20 million trying to do it. This administration done send people around the world, probably done spend about 10. And we don't even have a company. You remember when GIBC came to the Bahamas? When GIBC came, and they said that GIBC was going to bring digital. I said, if GIBC could last 6 months in the Bahamas, I would make a $500,000 donation to a charity or group of charities. GIBC lasted 5 months. Okay? Because, see, I'm a planter.
You almost lose that. It was slim, but you got through.
If you're a guy that planter, right, and you see a guy planting seeds on the rocks or in the middle of the road, you know what he got to tell you? That ain't gonna work, right? And they go, how you know that tree wasn't gonna grow? You'll be like, are you serious? Have you all ever seen where a tree grow before? So what happens is, let's use an example. You want them to come to Grand Bahama. So Howard, you go buy a software. You don't know how to install it. You go hire somebody to install it. Oh God, they install the software and it don't work. So he said, I think it's a hardware. So now you got to go get somebody else. And then he can't get it fixed and he has to get somebody else. But now let's go back to this global thing. So here you have, let's use Google as an example. They make routers for the world, carrying terabytes of information per second around the world. Now you get a wide area network that we call these phone companies and whatever in Freeport. We struggling with 60 megabytes, 100 megabytes, right? Mm-hmm. When the standard around the world can be 1 gigabyte. So now you're saying that you're gonna go to Google and buy one of their appliances they make for commercial regular home use, install it around your city, and invite Google, who does terabytes of information because they own the cables running around the world,
Mm-hmm.
to come to Freeport to use their appliance in your city.
That's crazy.
And that's why it's never happened. Because what you have to do is show Google that you are willing to create legislation and policies and procedures and things and get.
But what that does is attracts everybody else.
And others will join them.
It attracts competition. It attracts competition.
The problem is no one understands the description of what needs to be built to put it into legislation. And we're seeing that argument right now, Howard yesterday.
But that's easy to fix. That ain't hard to fix. That ain't hard to fix. You find a consultant. You find an ambassador. Let's say hypothetically, you find an ambassador to.
See,
that's
they want to be the one to say they knew, they did it.
Yeah, but that's stupid. Either we can get it done or we ain't get it done. All right. You find an ambassador to Silicon Valley, let's say that, right? You find a tech ambassador, right? An ambassador to Silicon Valley. You find someone who could be able to understand this language, to translate that, and to be able to bring it down into the colloquial terms that we need so we can construct the legislation, the white paper, to be able to go to Parliament. You don't need to sit out here and try to figure out what the hell all these things. You could get someone who can do this. This is light work. You know who could do this right now? You could do this right now. Gilbert Morris could do this right now. Let's get this done.
The biometrics. Do you know yesterday the data commissioner and the parliamentary commissioner, everything was out there. And do you know what happened during the meeting after the questions was asked, the right questions by the right person?
What's that?
They says we have no data protection law to address the 21st century, nor do we have any biometrics law in existence to date to protect any data from biometrics, not even the passport office, because the law from 2003 does no longer is applicable, and the law that is
antiquated.
That the PLP brought last week on the 15th has went back to committee because it was shown to have a number of defects that doesn't address the current thing. So here it is that we are, we make, and so the question I asked them was, are you guys going to proceed? And they asked me like, well, yes, what do you think? And I said, almost like trying to say, why? What is it, with you? And I said, because you're asking me to give you my data. And I want to know, understand this, biometrics data, when somebody takes your fingerprint and somebody takes your DNA, your RNA, your face, and all these things, right? Guess what? You don't ever get them back.
Never.
And so that's why we have to do it right the first time. This is why we need to stop pretending that is, because when you do data protection, you understand, what's the biggest data companies in the world? Google, Meta, Amazon, and all these different people. And you have laws that can't protect Howard's personal computer, but you want them to bring billions of people data, trillions of dollars of value into your country, and you have no laws that mandate or protects them.
That's crazy what you're
Trillions.
saying. I see what you're saying.
Let's see what it's for people to understand. If $1 million is a year, $1 billion is 1,000 years, and $1 trillion is 1 million years. So just convert that to dollars. And these guys are multi-trillion-dollar companies of data. And so they're bringing millions and millions of years of data. That
thousands and thousands of years. Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. But let me just end on this housing thing. We do not have a housing problem. Yes, those houses, 25,000 houses in the bush, probably 5,000 of them is of any value, right? You remember how a couple months ago when you was at other place, I mentioned the word lazy money and dead money?
Mm-hmm.
Lazy money in the bank is the $3 billion or more, $3.5 billion of money sitting in the bank that's not being lent out because people don't qualify for it, period. Dead money is those houses sitting in the bush because I'm not going to go into the details, that's a little bit complicated, but dead money is sitting there, meaning that those houses in the bush are already torn up, whatever, but they're still on the books as value when they really have no value of the bank. So you eliminate those of the books, and they have to now delete $5, $10, $15, $20 million of their books. You know what happens when you take $20 million of your books, right? Your company loses value. So those are dead money, and then you have the money. But here's the problem, Howard. To qualify for a $200,000 government loan, every house you buy, the average mortgage is 1% of the housing value. So if you buy a $200,000 government house, you have to make $2,000 a month payment. That's without insurance. Now, guess what? That means you have to demonstrate that you earn $6,000 a month. You know?
How?
So
our society,
you have to make 3 times your income.
Yeah, but that's not even realistic.
Your income must be 3 times of your monthly payments.
And that's why it's a housing crisis, because ain't nobody could afford it.
It's affordability. You can't afford it. And so when you look at the fact that inflation has moved almost 15, 20% from the time there, plus the value, when you put all these things in play. So we have a problem, an income problem, which then makes it affordability problem. And so the problem, though, is that we still believe that banks exist only because we are in the cave, and when you leave out of the cave, you'll understand traditional banking and financing no longer exists.
Mm.
And that's the problem you have. Howard, my wife and I will be writing a letter to the media next week, right? And I've said this on air. Our platform will be out by the end of the year. There's only 2 people we cannot finance for bed and breakfast, short-term vacation rental, or home ownership. Do you know who the 2 people are?
I won't hear now.
Under 18 and the dead. And the reason for those 2 people, the need of those 2 people can legally sign a contract.
Really?
If you're breeding, we can finance you. But this is what Donald Trump did, when he made that announcement of the Genius Act and he's coming with the Clarity Act, they are changing the world. Donald Trump said, I'm going to do $37 billion. You got companies like BlackRock and Blackstone and Vanguard, HSBC and others. They threw in another 20, 30, 40 trillion dollars. Those, when you do the multiplier, that's like millions of years worth of money. And so the world is changing. And they've said anything in the world today that can be tokenized in 5 to 7 years will be tokenized. That's probably 95% of the economy. So we are doing away with traditional finance as we know it. And the problem is that when my wife and I were beginning this process, right? We went to people for financing. They said they weren't interested. So, there's a formula, Howard. Time is money and money is time, right? So not having money, we invested time. And over 4 years plus, we built where we were. And after Donald Trump made the announcement a couple of weeks ago, many people in finance is like, see, Alan, that little thing you was talking about a couple of years ago. Yeah, I heard that little thing. You can tell me about that again? And I'm simply
was he talking? What was the coin that he was talking about? What was the coin he was talking about? He mentioned Bitcoin, but there was another coin.
Bitcoin. No, that's what people are conflating them. There's a concept called crypto, but it's not cryptocurrency. Then comes under something called tokenization. In fact, tokenization exists. Just search the word tokenization credit card and you'll see it existed for 40 years. So when people came up with this blockchain, that's another aspect of blockchain and tokenization, because under tokenization comes the word tokens and other different things. So what he said that there's something called stable coins, which also comes under tokenization. And the problem with stable coins in the world, it was backed by algorithms, it was backed by makeup stuff. Nobody really knew it was backed by, but people claimed that they had these special formulas by computers to make the coin balance. So what Donald Trump says, any stable coins that comes under our jurisdiction and our control must be backed by the US dollar. which then now makes the U.S. Treasury a valid note, because you don't buy it in U.S. dollars, you buy Treasury notes. So in essence, he's digitizing the entire U.S. national debt and making people back it by tokens. I can talk to you off air. You remember I keep saying to you, come back to Freeport. I can't afford you, but I could probably spot you $1 million. We can talk on off air about this, okay?
Come spot the millionaire. Let's talk about
my formula. But I'm simply saying this: there's no reason for us to be lacking in this country, because the very concept, and this is why, Howard, this is not a political statement. In the House of Assembly, I can send you the link. Michael Pintard laid out a foundation. Now, he supported the bill in certain respect. He wanted privacy, protection, and sovereignty, right? Constitutional. And I don't support the bill. I believe the bill should be gutted, and we should take a year to build a new bill, okay? And then build, because we can't patch an old house to get people to move into it. And so we have to do it right. So we already admitted yesterday that we have no protection. So let's do it right this time, right? But if you listen to what his contribution is, his contribution could create listen carefully, $1 trillion economy for which we could benefit. I want to not only create the $1 trillion economy, I want to corner the economy so that the Bahamas becomes the gateway, like Qatar did for going between countries when they were negotiating or fighting. I want to become the gateway as you say, where the switch happens, and we can become that. And it only requires legislation, nothing else. We don't have to build nothing, just legislation. And so what it then does, though, Howard, in the same way Trump is disposing of the U.S. national debt, remember I said, we're talking about billions, right? So we say, let's say we have $16 billion in debt. So let's convert that into years. That's like 16,000 years. Trump then is talking about 370 million years of money. So we're a small change in there. But the fact that we become a player in there, we will move into the knowledge-based economy. And Bahamians can finance. So this is what my wife and I is doing. I'm saying it right here. When we already got preliminary approval from the U.S., Canada, and from the Bahamas in some respect. We will be offering, Howard, 100% financing for bed and breakfast and short-term vacation rentals. And
sir,
I'm simply saying
I got the property right now. I need 15 units.
This is something other people can do.
Tell me how to apply.
In that respect, and go around the Caribbean. You know, understand this? We have the whole Caribbean to conquer. You know how they used to come here and build bed and breakfast and hotels and everything? There's no reason now, where Jamaica got devastated, we can't get 100 Bahamians to go down there and go build 10 units each. That's 1,000 units.
Technically, there is a reason. You go down there, and then Yadi take you up.
Leadership that we need. This is the type of conversation we have to have.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate the telephone call.
All right.
Thank you, man. But, yeah, there is a reason. You ain't getting on there and messing around with them Jamaican fellas and whatnot. I hear enough sad stories about Jamaicans trying to go back home to invest. Not that this is a fearful thing, not that if you're not prepared, you ain't be able to find out and get to those things. But we can talk, guys. I want to be able to talk about these things and find out a little bit more when we get back. We can wrap up the show and see exactly what's what. Let me take this quick commercial break, guys. I'm going to be right back after this.
Oh! Hey! Boy, you nosy now. All up in my bricks and mortar. Deep in it. I hope you can handle it. I met this street potter. He was all in my face, always in my way, getting on my case. He followed me to breakfast, take me to lunch, get fired from Tribune. Now he wait for the punch. Now I must admit, he was a little cute, but that ain't give him no reason to go look at my birthday suit. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Get on gone this deep, might as well get the proof. Hey, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? What? Hey, yes, ma. Where you say all up in it? Hey, what? He been in my closet, smelling my shoes. He round my clothesline, say he looking for clues. Digging in my garbage, searching in my drawers. He saw some pictures, he mouth hit the floor. He took out his pen and started to write. The more he looked, the more he liked. You done all up in my business, man, what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. You done gone this deep, might as well get moved. All up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Bring me horns. Woo! Now that's a reporter. You got a white boy. Investigate. Deep investigation. Check this out. See? Josie put his hand in his pocket, make me itch. Oh yeah. He started to scratch me just where I had an itch. I said, hey, my boy. Boy, what you think this is? He must was try. And if I had a man like Josie, I will L-I-C-K. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Don't run away, boy. I talking to you. All up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all your paparazzi and reporters there. I's 100% Bahamian woman. Let me tell you something. You can't lie on this and expect to get away with it. I can tell you that. So when you come correct. Ooh, you investigating, penetrating, getting in my biz, pesterizing, analyzing. What you think this is? You won't go undercover? You got to be brave. If you ain't gonna work, why how you expect to get a raise? He was a little scared, afraid to get hurt. Boy, you done in my biz. Now get to work. You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. You done gone this deep, might as well get deep. Boy, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Acting like statue, like you can't move. Don't run away, boy. I talking to you. You all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? You just standing there like you can't move. You done gone this deep, makes well find the truth. Boy, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? You done all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business, boy. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Ow. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? All up in my business. I'm talking to you, all up in my business. Ooh, now what you gonna do? What? All up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in my business. Now what you gonna do? Ooh, all up in it.
I saw you cross the street yesterday. I got too tight, tongue, I didn't know what to say, Lord. But after dreaming about you the whole night long, girl, I made up my mind the next time I see you, I coming on to you strong. Even from a distance, girl, you sure look sweet. But when you walk up close, all I see was beauty from your head to your feet. Then to top it off, you said good evening, great God, you smile at me. I felt my heart crumble. Cupid jokey arrow deep in me. Oh girl, I saw you cross the street yesterday. I got so tight tongue I didn't know what to say, Lord. But after dreaming about you the whole night long, girl, I made up my mind the next time I see you, I coming on to you strong. I asked one old man, can you tell me her name? He looked at me as if I had gone crazy rather than lose my brain. He said it was the same girl who I played with when you did live down the lane. That's when I remember your face, but I could not place your name. Oh girl, I saw you cross the street yesterday. I got so tight tongue I didn't know what to say, Lord. But after dreaming about you the whole night long, girl, I made up my mind the next time I see you, I coming on to you strong. You know back then I didn't care much for you. Well, you wasn't sweet and juicy, oh Lord, not how you turn out to.
Alright guys, last couple of minutes before we get out of here, I want to thank you guys for being able to tune in with us, have a good conversation about these things. Today is Thursday. Slide through the paper and see exactly what this would be a plug. Gotta plug my good people over at Butler's Funeral Homes and Crematoriums. They're always with us, jamming with us over the years, and I always say to you, if you're giving good consideration for being able to put your loved one down in class, in style, with the kind of character that they existed within life, and you want them to kind of carry that on even as they transition into eternity. You want to be able to put them down with Butler's Funeral Homes and Crematory. They are good and decent people. I am always grateful to be here with you as we talk about these things and make this happen and see exactly what's what. All right. So it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful, got a couple calls coming through. It's a beautiful day, guys, and I just wanted to be able to say that to you. But as we look at the paper, as we look at these particular things, last thing before we get out of here, we get a couple minutes. So he says the National Junkanoo Committee, NJC, said that yesterday that it has no agreement with the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence, JCNP, to jointly manage the upcoming Junkanoo Parade. The NJC statement came hours after the Office of the Prime Minister shared a 56-second long video on behalf of the Saxon that featured JCNP Chairman Dion Miller, NJC Chairman Warren Pinder, and members of Saxons and Sir Franklin Wilson, stating that they were moving forward in a unified manner. I did see that. Then he actually goes on to say that no context was provided for the video, and Miller and Sir Franklin did not respond to the phone calls yesterday. There has been drama in the Junkanoo world after the government announced that the NJC will be responsible for the management of the Junkanoo Parade across the country. Something that the JCNP had done for decades. The National Junkanoo Committee, NJC, wishes to clarify recent reports that social media posted suggesting that the agreement has been reached for the joint management of the upcoming national parade by the NJC and the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence. This is what the NJC said in the statement. He said, the meeting referred to in those reports was a decision with the representatives of Shell Saxon Superstars on the major Junkanoo groups and not a formal engagement with the JCNP organization. While Mr. Dion Miller, who is affiliated with the JCNP, was present, the conversation was focused solely on general parade preparation. To be clear, no agreement for joint management between the NJC and the JCNP exists. The 2025-2026 Junkanoo Parade will be managed exclusively by the parade management team appointed by the NJC, operating under the oversight of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. Last week, the JCNP announced that it would sit out of the National Junkanoo Parade, opting to host 2 independent Junkanoo parades featuring major Junkanoo groups, including the Saxons, Roots, the world-famous Valley Boys, and One Family. On Tuesday evening, One Family revealed that it will be a part of the annual Boxing Day, New Year's Day parade. I feel like Rodney King. Can we all just get along? As you're taking blows, can we all just get along? This is a plain example for the taste of power. You can't acquire this power through the House of Assembly. You got to be able to get this social power one way or another. That's wild. You're going to be able to come to a conclusion. Our culture is bigger than any one individual. And if we're going to be held up by a few men, who in the way going to get kicked down? Run over, say, Rover, come over. Come on, man, talk to me. If we're going to be held up by a few men who allow their ego to be the forerunner of their lives in this particular capacity. We're going to have to push over their ego and move them out of place. Can't be held up by these men. Well, that's the show today, guys. I want to thank you so very kindly for being able to tune in with us. I know you wanted to talk about some more stuff, but, it's always a mouthful with issues that have been long-standing legacy issues in this country. And I always like to kind of chop it down and really have a good conversation with you. I'm grateful to you guys for being able to join in with me today and participate. I'm going to see you tomorrow, God Spare Our Lives, right here in the foundation. I'll see you then. Take a good day. Tomorrow is Friday. It's going to be warm and easy. See you tomorrow, God Spare.